Let's do a hangout.
Yeah. Yeah, this is awesome, man. It's when you said this morning earlier that we'll do an after hours show, I was like, okay. I thought like you were setting it up during the show. Like I was thinking go from one show to another. And then I'm thinking, I was sitting here tonight talking to a buddy on the Google Hangouts, and I'm like, he's like, I thought you were doing a show with Pegleg. I'm like, well, I am. I thought I was. I messaged him. He didn't message back. I said, I don't know. I said the last hangout that he did was with Martin, I think. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Martin set it up or he did. Maybe I said maybe he tried and couldn't get it going. Maybe I said I don't know. And then here it is right now. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, Vancouver time. I've been up all
Yeah,
night. So yeah, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, Vancouver time, and yeah, I'm still up, man.
that's crazy. Sorry about that, because I did put like into a message to you that it would be 10 a.m. my time.
I get all mixed up, man. I got so many people on so many different time zones. It's crazy, man. I need like 10 clocks. I got to put them all in my house and set them all to different time zones because there's so many
Yeah.
people now. I can't get it in my head. I swear I can't get it in my head, man. I even my family in New Brunswick, they're only 4 hours ahead of me, and I'm still, man. There's so many people in my head. I gotta constantly look at the clock and count the hours, man, and say, oh, he's 8 hours, he's 9 hours. Well, they're 3 hours, or it's just so much, man. Like in New Brunswick, the other end of Canada, my kids and stuff are 4 hours ahead of me, and then the Truman, he's 3 hours ahead of me, and S Bibbs, he's 3 hours ahead of me. Like everybody that I talk to, no one's in my time zone, man. Like there's people that I talk to that's just across the border and they're still 1 hour ahead of me or behind me. It's like it never ends. No one's on the same time as me.
Yeah, it's crazy because like most of the people I talk to, well, I've only talked to Martin and Mindfulness, and they've both been in the UK, so it's been all right for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Have
Oh,
you
sorry,
heard
and Mark
from
Sargent as well.
have you heard from mindfulness in a while?
Yeah, I spoke to him the other day. You sent me that message saying you ain't spoke to him in a while.
Yeah, I haven't spoke to him.
So yeah, so I sent him a Skype message, and he's okay at the moment. He's just got a few things going on.
Cool, cool. I was wondering where he got to. I hadn't heard from him in a while, so but anything comes up, you never know with YouTube, right? Things come up in people's lives, and I've that's happened to me in my YouTube journey. So, like I say, people things do come up besides just YouTube, right?
Yeah, exactly. Life still goes on.
Yeah, oh, hey man, that's the thing. Every day is different, and every day is unexpected. You never know what's gonna happen. You really don't. And it's like tomorrow. Well, we think tomorrow will be okay, but we really don't know. Like we never know what's gonna happen on YouTube. That's especially on YouTube. You never know what's gonna happen. It's kind of crazy in a way, man. I just even just think about today. All I got thinking about was that show and like how that was going to go. And I really didn't know because, we didn't plan anything. It was spare of the moment. And it's kind of weird walking into a Google Hangout with that many people watching you and you really don't know what you're going in there to say until it happens. It's kind of weird, man. But it's something that I've been pushing for a while. And for like people to talk openly and not read from a script and stuff. So to me, it's I feel it's like my mission to carry it through because it's that's what I've been pushing for all this time for people to be able to speak freely of what they think or how they feel. So I kind of really am liking this new show. It's yet to like take off or anything, but I think it will. I think people will tune into it because I think they'll realize that we're true. And it's different from other shows. We want to create strategies to move flat Earth and this strange world we live in further. Like I want to be able to accept everybody, like as people, and say, it doesn't matter really what we're fighting over. Some of the things we're fighting over is just it's crazy. Like some of the debates and stuff they are good debates. I have to admit, some debates are better than others for sure. But really, in the end, they don't really prove anything because they don't convince anybody. So, I mean, we all just need to get together and agree with what we can agree on and say, the earth is not what the government is telling us. The earth is not what we were taught in school. And, how can we press them for answers? Like we could debate this for 20 more years and still not have the answers. We could continue to make debates and go look at the sun and the moon and the stars and look at every single thing that we can see with our eyes and visualize and still find arguments in it and say, no, it's this way. No, this fits this model. No, it fits this model, and never have an answer as long as we continue to do that. But we need to take each and every one of us and find out what we do agree on, what we can say, okay, we can all agree to that. I think it's this, I think it's a dome, I think it's a ceiling, I think it's a infinite land, whatever the case may be. That doesn't really matter. It really does not matter in the long run. It does not. We need to think about what we can agree on and work together and move it forward, rather than sit here and keep arguing of what we think or what we feel or what we believe or what we've seen or where we've been, or it really it doesn't matter. It just adds to the chaos, really, in the long run, I think.
Yeah, definitely. For me, I just think there is proof there that tells us exactly what the earth is, but it's been lost for so many, for hundreds of years. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, people are keeping it away from us. And I just think, come on now, everyone knows it's flat or concave or pear shaped. There is proof to one of these things to be true. I mean, for me, it's the Bible. It tells me it's flat because I'm a believer in God. So that's what I think. And a
I
lot of
believe
people,
that
that.
from what I've read of the Bible, I truly believe that there's some parts in there that make the Bible a flat Earth book. But I also do know that the Bible was written by man. You know, I do know that God did not come down here and write that down. It was written by men. It was written by many multiple books, and they have chopped it up. But when I read it and I interpret the Bible, I just interpret it in my own head as it's God's words. That even if the devil himself got in there and wrote things that are not true or to steer you in a different way or make you think something different, to a true soul, you interpret it good out of that anyway. It doesn't really matter. You're not looking at it from that point of view that they're trying to make you acknowledge if there is evil in there. That's the way I interpret the Bible when I read it. I look at it as I'm reading it as the good way. I'm trying to find the good in it. So to me, I that's just the way that I see it. And the same goes for people that believe in God. Or to me, I'm not really here to try to press religion onto people. I'm trying to open people's minds up. And I believe personally, if there is a dome, I mean, that is proof right there that there is a creator. There's no doubt in my mind. And then people will still argue with us because we believe in Jesus and say, well, Jesus, he didn't exist, or he wasn't here, or he was here but he wasn't the Messiah, or there'll always be an argument of that. But to me, like I say, I believe in Jesus, and nobody in this world could ever change that. I've believed in that since I was a baby, since I was born. And there's nothing that anybody could ever say that could change that for me. So people that believe in God and they don't believe in Jesus, I just say, well, if I let's just say that I do believe in Jesus and Jesus wasn't the Messiah, and I get in front of God one day and he says to me, well, no, you took the wrong path. Do you really think he's going to send me to hell because I thought Jesus was the way to God? Really? I mean, I don't know. I don't imagine God like that. I don't think he would do that. I mean, I only follow Jesus. Why? Because I believe it's the way to God. So how is God going to punish me for that? That's just the way I
Well,
see it. So
yeah, exactly. I mean,
I
I don't know. I think for me, God, and following God and becoming born again in the spirit. I think from you've done that, you can make it to God no problem as long as you try to strive to lead a good life, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Truly, truly. Like I say, with this flat Earth, I mean, people will pick any single thing they can pick to argue with. If they can't beat you in science or words or muscle or belittle you, the next thing they'll go for is your religion or whatever. You're ugly or whatever. They'll
Mm,
try any single thing they can do to criticize what you're about or what your statement you're trying to make. That's what they'll do. They'll attack you any way that they can, you know? So I don't let that stuff get to me. I try my best not to. When I see shit like that, sometimes I kind of get offended. And even if it's not towards me, if I see comments to other people, racism comments, or they make fun of someone because you live here or you live there or whatever, I just see it as I don't know, it's really not right in a way, but I don't know. I don't know what other people are up to either. There's so much going on in this flat earth. It's even from my own head, man. I mean, people look at me sometimes and they say they get the wrong idea of me. They really do. And I know that they get the wrong idea because they don't know me. They only see the guy that's screaming at the phone. And I'm not always that way. I'm not. Like people have talked to me for hours in hangouts, and I'm not always that way, man. I'm not. And but sometimes I figure I gotta be. I mean, when I get to that point, when I get so pissed off that I just can't help myself anymore, it's like if I don't make that video, well, I'm gonna go to bed with all this on my head. Because to be honest, my wife is like, I mean, she still listens to me about it, but she is so tired of hearing about flat Earth. She believes the Earth is flat. She's a flat earther. She'll support me in any rally I go to. Like when I went and met up with Flat Earth Hub, she come and met him with me. Then we bring him home, and you know what I mean. She's all down for stuff like that, but she's not the same thing. She's not living in it. And I'm living in it like every day, day in and day out. Like, I mean, I went all day. I've been up since 10 o'clock this morning. It's now 2 o'clock in the morning. Like and I'll be up all day. I'll go to work. I got to go to work in 4 hours, you know what I mean? For 8 hours painting. And like I say, this is what I do. I focus all my energy mostly on flat earth and trying to find the truth. And sometimes I gotta be the mean guy to try to get the truth. And I
mm,
got different ways of doing things that people, I don't know whether they don't think about it to do it or they don't have the balls to do it. I really don't know, but I see
yeah.
things and then I say, well, if I did this and then they did this, well, then I could do this. And that's the way I roll. And I see it ahead of time, and it never usually plays out the way I intend it to play out. There's always a twist in there. And that's why I say I can never figure these people out. Most of these people I call out, I can never figure them out. I just can't. I can watch your videos and I've watched all of your videos now, and you know that. And I could watch 10 videos of you and figure you out. I remember when you first come on, you had that hat on. I was like, who's this guy with mutton? I was like, who is this guy? So at that time, you didn't have much content, you know what I mean? So I just kept watching you and watching you. And after like 10 videos, I'm like, hey, he's a good guy. He's cool, like, and then I remember another thing about you at somewhat around that time was when I went crazy on the big five, and you were like, I remember what you were saying in my comments. I don't want to repeat them all, but you were like, yeah, we gotta this guy's okay. Like you were like, even though I was swearing and shit, I thought you were like the religious guy. I said, oh, he's gonna take off now, and you never did. Like, you know what I mean? Like you accept all what I say of swearing. You're like, okay, he's just pissed off, but let's not listen to the FFF. Let's see talking about, like, and I get you there. I totally do. And I appreciate that you stuck around, and like, we've corresponded back and forth with email, and I truly appreciate that because I see the true in you, and I still do. And I know that you're a true guy, and I know that you just want answers, and I know you're a family guy and stuff. And me, I got more time on my hands that I can deal with this, and that's what I take advantage of every day. I just do what I can do. Uh, I just want people to open their minds more than it is, and the people that are awake, I don't encourage them not to watch these shows, but what I encourage them to do is just watch the shit with an open mind. You know what I mean? Like, if you can believe that we've been lied to about the earth is not what we're being told, that we're not spinning, we never been to space, dinosaurs are fake, everything else. I mean, all this stuff that you just took in the last 2 years, and you can believe all that and you're okay with that and you can accept the terms, hey man, I've been lied to about everything. Well, you got to look at it and say, there got to be people involved in this. And who are those people? And when you look at all of us as a bunch, and we pretty much know everybody, I mean, we really do. That's why I look at these 40,000 subscriber people and say, that number's not right because we know just about everybody in this. When you're in this for 14, 15 months, you remember names. I mean, I know people have jumped from account to account to account. I understand that. And sometimes I can even follow them and know that that's that person. I know by the way they talk. I've read enough of that guy's comments. That's how he talks. He changed channels, and that's him. And I can spot that sometimes. Sometimes you can't. But for the most part, I don't think there's as many flat earthers or any of us strange world people as they let on there is. Because I even look at like concave, or not concave, cell earth, Lord Stephen Christ. Uh, what a name. But
Yeah,
anyways,
yeah.
I don't subscribe to him, but I look at his subscriber list and it's like, holy crap, there is so many people on there that's flat earthers. But I mean, they're watching him, not that they're trying to get his sell earth knowledge or change teams, but they're probably wondering what he's saying about other flat earthers, or, like, so when I look at concave as a number, I think, well, there's 5,000 people there, and that's cool. That's a pretty big number. But what if 2,000 of them are flat earthers? That drops that number down to what, 3,000? Really, how many people actually believe they live inside of a ball, right? And to me, you can't add these numbers up. It's impossible. Like, that's why with this petition thing, I think it's crazy. I think it's absolutely crazy. I totally do. I don't agree with it. In the same sense, I signed it because whatever, my name's already out there. Most people know my name anyway, my whole name, my address, where I live, the apartment I live in. So really, what's the difference if I signed it? The reason that I signed it was so people would just shut up and leave me alone, basically. Like, well, why didn't you sign it? Well, why do I need to sign it? But I did sign it. Whatever. Didn't matter to me. I didn't sign it. I got someone else to, so I didn't have to deal with the headache of doing it. Uh, so anyways, to me, I'm curious to see this petition before it gets passed in to see how many people actually signed it, because that'll give me somewhat of a number. But then again, they kind of got this label thing going where it's only flat earthers. So what I'd like to know is how many people were in electric Earth, concave Earth, and flat Earth, all in a total. And then how many people would be home in the closet still watching but not have a channel? Like, to me, that's what I wonder. Like, how big is this number? Like, is it big? Because I don't think it is. I think it's all three of them total. I think it's probably like 10,000.
Yeah, I don't think it's a lot. I don't think it's a lot at all. I mean, for me, I've looked at these big fives and their subscribe list, their subscribe numbers, and then I went onto a big site called, certain site on YouTube, and they had like less than them. They only had 5,000 something. Do you know what I mean? I don't think that's a big channel, and there's so many science guys out there that would, I would have thought would have subscribed to it, but I never saw none of that on there.
And we look
And
at
I,
people like, okay, we look at the big five and we say, okay, we pretty much know that they're shady. Something's up there. We can't figure it out. But then we look at other people and we say, like Rob Skiva. Okay, well, he's a Bible guy. And okay, well, he wasn't a flat earther. He's not a flat earther. He says he's on the fence.
mm,
A lot of his followers were religious, and that was his channel before anything to do with flat earth. So the way that I see that is the number that he has there really doesn't count, because that's mostly flat earthers that want a little bit of religion to go with it, and they go and watch him, because all the people that he has on his subscriber list are not flat earthers. Like, they're there for another reason. They're there for religion. So to me, his number really doesn't count. Tiger Dan, he's another one. I mean, you look at him, he's got what, 20 something subscribe or 20,000 subscribers, but he was a religious station before he was a flat earther. So there's not 20,000 flat earthers there. So really, I mean, I don't really have nobody to go by besides Hot Potatoes. She's down to like what, 8,000, and that almost makes sense because she's running, and they're not all flat earthers either. There are a lot of vegans. So I mean,
Mm,
even her number's really hard to go by. You know what I mean? And then I look at, well, her muscle, her little bodyguards or whatever you call them, Antonio and Nathan. I mean, they're around 2,000. So
yeah,
I mean that number almost fits. I mean, 2,000, that's almost a normal, but I mean at max, I'm thinking we're all in all around 10,000 because there's a lot of electric Earth and concave Earth that wouldn't subscribe to Antonio or Nathan. So I mean those numbers almost make sense to me.
yeah.
It's hard to get your head around it. It really it is. I mean, and it's nothing's ever accurate. You can't go by what I just said, or even go and take and figure it out yourself. It's almost impossible to figure it out. I mean, it's like building a map without a starting point. I mean, how are we going to do that? It's not going to happen. But if we don't know where we're at in the world, how can we start anything? How can we start laying pieces of land down on anything? Because we just can't. We don't really know where we're at. You know, just because they give us a flat Earth map doesn't really, that doesn't mean anything really. I mean, it really doesn't. They're all
Uh,
different.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different flat Earth maps out there, but they seem to use a certain one most of the time that you look at flat Earth, and I think one or two of them may be, accurate rather than not
Well,
accurate.
to me, I say, and well, people can disagree with me, and they do every day anyway. So what's the difference? I say that a model does not matter because a heliocentric model is not proven. Did you ever see anything orbit on Earth? No, I know
No.
you didn't. And with the trillions of dollars we give NASA, why did they not have a working model that works for us to show us this is how it works? And with gravity and or things orbiting, why is it not like that? It just doesn't happen. So to me, the heliocentric model doesn't even exist. The only reason that it exists is because they taught us it in school, and for as long as we can remember, and as long as our parents can remember, they've taught us that. So the only reason we know that there's even such thing as a heliocentric model is because they taught us it. And the only reason that we know that it works is because they told us it worked. And we've never actually seen it work. So all we're going by is what we're taught. You see what I'm saying? So it goes in the category of every single thing else. It does not really matter. And it's like a flat earth one. A flat earth model, well, it doesn't move. So how could it be a model? It doesn't. What do you mean? People say it doesn't work. Well, what do you mean it doesn't work? The earth doesn't move. If I build a dome over top of my coffee table and put a sun and a moon in there that orbit around somehow, whether they levitate or they float there or they just go in a pattern, either way, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And the same thing with a living inside of a ball, it doesn't work. So to me, you can't take a basketball and take a golf ball and put it inside the middle of a basketball and make it sit in the middle. So that model doesn't work either. So to me, none of them work. There is no such thing as a model. A model is the biggest distraction that there is in flat Earth right now, because that's what we keep coming back with the same thing. Water doesn't bend and there is no curve. And then they come back, where's your model? Where's your model? Constantly, when their model, the heliocentric model, is CGI anyway. Show me a heliocentric model that works, that's actually without motors or without magnets, or show me something that orbits, and I'll say, wow, maybe the Earth is a ball. But no one
Mm.
has showed me that yet. So to me, that's just the way I see it. Arguing over a model is just pointless. It's not a debate that's going anywhere. So why bother?
Well, yeah, I mean, for me, it's like if they said they came back and they had proof that the the globe is real and it's actually there, I would follow that because then I know it's the truth. But also, on the same hand, if it's flat, then and they found proof, I'm already there. Do you know what I mean? And I've got to say as well, growing up as a kid come up to me and said to me, "Oh, what do you think of the shape of the Earth?" And I said it was flat instantly,
Yeah, I
instinctively.
remember that in the video.
You know, and obviously I've come to this point where I'm a flat earther, and I just think that's a bit crazy. So I must have known, spiritually or something that, the Earth is flat, and I just think it's really crazy.
I hate the term really flat earther. I really do because I think it labels us as something. You see what I'm saying? And
Mm,
if I'm a flat earther, well, everybody's a flat earther and they just don't know it yet.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
think I think the term is so stupid. It's like, are you a baller? Like 2 years ago, did we call people on a ball earth a baller? Like a baller was like a gangster or something. Like, he's balling, man. He's got a lot of stuff. Like these names that we're coming up with is just it's insane. And it's not even names, it's titles. And the names that they come up with on YouTube is just crazy too, like troll and shill and you get it's pretty bad when you get called something or labeled something and you got to go and look it up to see what it means and it's not actually in your dictionary. You almost need to Google it on or look it up on YouTube to see what it is and get some video gamer to tell you what it's all about. Like it's pretty crazy, like these little labels and terms that they come up with for us, and we actually accept them. Like, look at my title, Flat Earth Vancouver BC. But in the same sense, I have no proof that it's a ball. I have no proof that it's flat earth. I just know certain things on a ball earth that doesn't work for me, and I know certain things on a flat earth that does work for me, that it's, to me, what I can see, it's flat. Now, I'm open-minded. I'm not going to turn down people that about a ball information, because the way that I see it is, what if somehow it's one of these new guys with 30 subscribers, I go and subscribe to him, and he brings something to the table that, bam, man, we never even thought of. Like, what if the earth was 100 times bigger than they told us? What if the earth was 1,000 times bigger as a ball than they told us it is, and it's not moving, and that's why us dummies can't see the curve? I don't know. I mean, but I'm open. I'm not closed-minded. Even though I think I'm open-minded, I am open-minded, but I'm not closed-minded to say, "Hey, it's flat. That's it. Move on."
yeah,
Like, I'm not. I still want to convince people, but I'm not trying to convince people actually that the Earth is actually flat, because I don't know. But I just want to convince people that, hey, try and help me. Try and defend that ball first. That's what I want people to do. Try and defend that ball, because that's what I tried for 2.5 months and I miserably failed.
yeah.
So
A lot of people did though, didn't they?
yeah, and if I can encourage people to just investigate the ball, okay, and bring me back what you found out, what you thought of it. Hey, maybe they'll see something that none of us seen. I don't know, but I'm open minded to that. I truly am.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, me as well. I'm open minded to both aspects, flat Earth or globe. If you got proof, then bring it. I'm happy to even put it on my channel. You know what I mean? And say, look, this
Right.
is what this person said to me. You know?
Me too. When things make sense to me, I will, but I'm not going to sit there in the same sense and argue with somebody who believes they live on a ball and argue with them for 3 or 4 hours. I mean, I'm just not going to do that anymore. I find it's a waste of time, and it goes nowhere. It doesn't matter, because in the end, he's going to walk away and he's still going to think he's on a ball, and I'm going to walk away and I'm going to still think he's crazy and I think it's flat. So really, why are we having this argument? Why did we even carry the conversation any further than what it was?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
that's the way I see it. But in the same sense, everybody's, like I said today in my show, everybody in this movement, or whatever you want to call it, unite, whatever the heck they call it, they got so many names for it. Uh, Everybody that's involved in this on YouTube is at a different stage. They're all at a different level, and nobody's the same. And everybody's thoughts are different, and everybody's perception is different on it, and everybody's belief system is different on it. And you know, those things are probably never going to change. It's no matter what, even when it comes out on the TV and NASA or the government or whoever, the Illuminati, whoever's in control of all of this, the YouTube leaders or whatever, whoever comes up with this, they're going to come up with a story and they're going to tell us the difference to what they want us to believe. And the question is, when it does come on the news, because that's when the mass is going to wake up. We're not going to wake people up in a mass on YouTube. It's going to be when the government decides we're going to pull the plug on this and see, put it out there and see what we get back. And the question I would ask most people is, when the day comes and that does come on the TV, because that's what most indoctrinated people are, that's when they're going to wake up, is when they see it on the TV, when they see it on CNN News or Fox News. That's when they're going to wake up. And is that really going to be the story? Is that really what it is when they tell us? That's what I wonder. Are we going to believe them now? Are we going to say, okay, the government, they fessed up? You know, like even if they decided to fire the space program and start a new one or whatever the case may be, whatever they come up with, is that the story we're going to go with? Is that the end of it? Is that it? Do we just take their word for it and move on? You know, and I say myself, no. I mean, they lied to us for so long that myself, I don't think personally we need a government. We only need a government to protect us, and the government's only protecting us from them. They're the
Yeah,
ones
yeah.
that lie to us. They're the ones that drop bombs on us. They're the ones that hurt us. They're the ones that lie to us, and you know, that's just the way I see it. So to me, we don't really need a government. None of us do. No country needs a government. No country. I truly believe that. If we're people, and if people just realize that, we don't need a government. You know,
Yeah, I
that's how.
mean, I agree with you. I mean, personally, you can rule yourselves, sort of thing. And kings and queens, I don't believe we need them. They're just sponges. Take the
Yeah,
people's money that they've earned. And they've worked hard to get it, and then all of a sudden we can't afford to buy food for our children and stuff like that. I just think it's ridiculous.
I do not believe in kings, queens, presidents, prime ministers, none of that stuff. I don't really care about any of it. They're all people in power that really have no power. They're the same as us. A king or a queen is no more royal than us. You know, it's just it. Like, well, you're the king of England. Well, I'm the king shit of Turd Island. I'm the same. So either way, it doesn't matter, right? That's just how I see it. Other people, they bow to it and they think like it's this high and mighty, or like they got special blood, or to me, it's just a person. It's just a person that's claimed some power, and people have given them their power. And that's why they have the power, because people have given them their power. You see what I'm saying? Rather than give themselves the power or give God the power, they give the person the power, like a president or a prime minister or a king or a queen. You know, they give them the power, and that's why they have the power. And to me, I don't believe that anybody on this earth is any more powerful than anybody else. I mean, I just don't. I believe we're all the same. Anybody that's walking this earth is the exact same. You know, there's good and there's bad people. I understand that, but I don't believe anybody's any more powerful than the other. I mean, we all have the capability of doing something, you know. Uh, some people, some people just dig that stuff up. Like to me, I just don't look at as kings and queens like any more powerful than us. I just truly don't. I think the only reason they are is because people give them their power.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the people can actually take the power away as well. But we've been so blinded by what's actually going on that we still let them be in power and control us. When we could just say, hey, we've had enough. Let's just take what we want back and you lot go away. It's simple as that. As
Well,
soon as people realize that they've got the power,
to most people,
yeah,
look
go
at what they do. Look at what their governments do in wars and stuff. I mean, we got money for wars, but we can't feed the poor. I mean, people are
yeah.
drinking alcohols and they don't have food and this and that, but we'll take and we'll drop a $10 million missile on a $10 tent. I mean, yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. You know, like some of the things that our government does is just, it's insane. It's completely insane. Even just in my own city, down here on Main Street, we got like the busiest businesses ever, like restaurants everywhere. And we have like a rule in Canada, if you have a place of business, you have to have a bathroom. Well, they made these bathrooms on Main Street now, and it was in the newspaper the other day. My wife showed it to me, and I couldn't believe it. And I heard it on YouTube too. Flat Earth Hub was saying it, that he read it in a paper, and it's two bathrooms that they made for uh, for out in the public. Well, every business has a bathroom, and these bathrooms cost $130,000 a piece. Well, they made two of them, so that's $260,000 on Main Street. But get this, a bathroom. But the bathroom, the reason that they're so expensive is because they're homeless proof. Homeless
Okay,
proof. We
that's
spend
crazy.
$260,000 to keep homeless people out of a bathroom when there's homeless people. I don't get that. Like our governments are sick, like sick people, sick minds. Like, and
Yeah.
we go along with this stuff. It's so crazy, man. Some of the things that they do, it's just, and there's not one person to blame. At least over where you're at, you have a king and a queen that you can blame. You can say, well, they're the problem right there. Over here, well, there's not really someone to blame. I mean, we are Canada. We are not an independent country anymore. We're free trade. Uh, we do basically whatever America tells us to do.
Mm.
I mean, basically, they run our country, and I don't care what any American or any Canadian says. I know a lot about the American government, more about the American government than I do about the Canadian government, because not a lot goes on over here. We basically do what they tell us to do. I mean, years ago, we were going to legalize marijuana over here. That's what our plan was. That's what our government was going to do. And America at one point had told us, well, you go ahead and do that, but we're closing our borders to you. Well, to Canadians and to Canadian government, that's scary. We don't want to piss off the Americans. I mean, they're our protection. We don't have guns. We have to be their friends. You know what I mean? We have to be their friends. So to any Canadian over here, that's basically the way we pretty much feel. Like we're not against taking their guns from them, because I figure one day we might need their protection. Like I don't want to see America disarmed. I truly don't. But in the same sense, I look at it like with this wall that they want to build, and if they're talking about it in the news, they are going to build this wall. And I say, if they build a wall to keep the Mexican border out, well, they're going to build one over here on this side too. I will guarantee you that. If they build one wall, they're building two. And it might take the next president to build the next wall, but they will build the second wall, and there will be a wall between Canada and the US. And then I have to ask myself, and I really have to ask myself, is that wall to keep us out of America, or is that wall to keep Americans in? Makes
I think it's
sense.
a bit. I think it's a bit of both, really, because you're going to get a system, where a lot of us are going to be, institutionalized and boxed in for the new world order. So we're all in grids, and that's the way I see it.
It's so, they make it so I don't know, man. They make it so many different ways, and it's like the voting system. It's literally so crazy in a way, because I truly believe that the people that they have to vote for, the people are like, they don't want to vote for any of them people.
Mm.
They don't leave you with much of a choice, and it's the same thing over here in Canada. I've myself personally, I've never voted, so I never talk about Canadian, because it's kind of a rule here. If you don't vote, you don't talk about it. So I don't talk about Canadian election. I don't really care about it. It's not really important. It's already planned. Your vote really don't matter. But I do talk a lot about the American, because, well, I'm not an American, so I can talk about it. I can talk about the Royals. I can get away with it. But in Canada, where I am a non-voter, I'd never voted in my life, I can't get away with talking to somebody in Canada about politics, because they'll be like, you didn't vote. You never voted in your life. Well, so my opinion don't matter, right? So that's just the way it kind of rolls here. But I do talk a lot about American. I figure that that's a big part in our lives over here because whatever happens over there, it's going to happen here. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's crazy though. Oh boy. I mean, we've just had that EU referendum thing over here in the UK, and it's a load of rubbish. I'm telling you. I mean, no matter what happens, we're still going to be part of the EU in one way or form. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. See, and that's like you guys with the Queen. Well, even though we're supposedly separate from them now, but we're really not because secretly, I mean, the Queen still owns us in a way because her face is all over our money. Every coin we have in our change is the Queen's face on the back of it. Every single coin we have in our currency of Canadian money, her face is on it. Like we see a lot of the Queen over here as well on our news, on our TV. So I know that somehow, some way, the Queen is definitely connected to us. Still, like I'm not saying she rules us, but what I'm saying is she definitely owns some stuff over here. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, I believe she owns stuff everywhere. And
Yeah.
her son, grandson, the oldest one, he bought Obamacare, didn't he? And a lot of
He
people
what?
reckon he's going to be. He bought Obamacare,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm just thinking. A lot of people are thinking, should I say, that he could be the next Antichrist, but I don't see that myself.
I don't see
He just,
that. But I do think stuff about Princess Diana. I think they took her out. My
oh
that's
yeah,
my
yeah,
it's my own opinion. They wanted her blood or her blood type for some reason. I don't know what happened, or maybe she knew too much, or she was too outspoken. I really don't know. I never really put it under the microscope and gave it a lot of thought. You know what I mean? It's too much to figure out, and it's something with them, so you'll never figure it out. And I do believe that the New World Order is basically run by her in a way, and I truly believe it's like a game of chess that they're waiting for the queen to die. When the queen dies, there'll be a checkmate. They're waiting for her to go. For whatever reason, I don't know, but that's how I feel about it because I do believe she's connected to here and all over the world. I believe a lot of places she's connected to, and I believe that she's the one they're waiting on for
yeah. I
some
mean,
reason.
that could be possible as well, because obviously, I don't think Prince Charles will get to become king, but his eldest son will become king, and from when that happens, a lot of things are going to change, and this is when the New World Order and Third World War and all this will come into effect. We will see big changes. We will all be quarantined in certain places, and chipped. Whether it is a little chip or a stamp or whatever, one way or the other, we're going to be done like that. And it's a for a lot of people, it's a scary thought.
Well, for me, I've done a lot of research on the chips. I've done a lot of research on the New World Order, and nobody's ever, I've had people that say, "Oh, I don't want to know about that. That's too scary stuff." And I understand that. I completely do. It's what they call fear porn or whatever they want to call it. It is scary stuff. I mean, when you research flat Earth, I mean, the worst case scenario, or if you research cellular Earth or whatever, I mean, it's not scary. There's nothing scary about it. It's really in reality, it's not scary. The only scary thing about it is you got to admit that you've been fooled. You've been robbed. That everything is probably wrong. If you call that scary, well, I don't know. I don't call it scary myself. But when you're looking and studying into the New World Order and the FEMA camps and the guillotines and the coffins and the hollow point rounds, that stuff's scary. If it doesn't scare you, well, then I don't know. You're a different kind of person than me, I guess. But to me, I find it scary. I truly do. I've lost sleep over it. And I've talked to some people about it. And like I said, they're like, oh, I don't want to know about that stuff. Or, I send them links and they're like, yeah, I'm not really interested in that. And it's like, okay, no worries. But to me, I am interested in it. And that's the stuff that led me to Flat Earth. You see, that's why
Yeah.
flat Earth, when it came about, and I started looking into it, trying to prove the ball. That's why it became such an easy jump for me after 2.5 months. I was like, you know what? It's got to be. It has to be. Has to be it. And I need to pick one of these three that I'm going to choose from and say, well, I think it's flat. And that's the road that I chose, and that's the road that I'm going to stick to until I get shown something else. And to me, all the things that I've looked at in the flat earth, people have always criticized and said, oh, this is fake, or this, or this is the reason, this is that. But when I talk about the New World Order and the FEMA camps and the guillotines and the coffins and the hollow point rounds and everything else, nobody's ever told me that that shit's CGI. Nobody's ever told me that shit's fake. Nobody's ever told me that those videos are not real, are fake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've watched drone shots of miles of coffins and miles from a drone, and nobody's ever told me that that stuff's fake. But with this flat earth, it's like everybody that's in flat earth, I mean, they all know about this stuff the same as you and I, but they don't want to talk about it because all they want to talk about is flat earth. And to me, it's like, are we going to keep talking about flat earth, and is this new world order just going to roll right over top of us? Is it, I feel like it's almost like on our doorstep, and we're talking about something that may or may not be.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
Like thinking that that's the bigger picture, really, because I mean, uh, even the FEMA camps and stuff. Really, I've only heard of that stuff here in America and in Canada. I've only heard of that stuff around here. I don't hear that stuff over where you're at, and I don't hear that stuff in other parts of the world either. So if it is a new world order, and if it is World War III or whatever they're going to call it, or doomsday or apocalypse, whatever they make of it, whatever they try to play out, uh, I just wonder, why is it not everywhere in the world? So that's why, to me, I figured at one point, well, flat earth is definitely more important, because this is if this is a conspiracy, this is a conspiracy that affects all. You know,
Mm.
if the earth is not what we're being told, this affects us all. It doesn't matter who we are. It doesn't matter where we are in the world. It matters because it affects each and every one of us. Whether it's a big deal to the person or it's not, it's still in our life today. And the new world order, that might not be everywhere in the world, you see? It might not be everywhere in the world at once. It might take 5 years for them to do what they're going to do here in Canada, in the US, or wherever, Australia, all around the world. But eventually it will probably be everywhere, because it is actually called the New World Order. So,
That's right.
what is
Exactly.
New World? Are we discovering the New World now, and now they're going to make the order? It all rings to me in my head, but I can't. There's just too many things to think about. It's like the more things you think about, rather than you get answers, you just get more questions. You come up with more questions in your head than you do answers. So it's like, instead of coming up with questions and trying to figure out answers, I say we make a show and come up with solutions to move forward, to try to avoid this, to try to get the right answers, that things that matter today, really, because things that happened yesterday really doesn't matter, and things that are going to happen tomorrow, we don't really know if tomorrow's going to happen, because tomorrow's not here yet. Well, it almost is, but you know what I mean? Like, we can only really worry about today, and if we're going to spend each and every day and fight and argue and this and that and back and forth, and we're going to get nowhere on YouTube. We need to have answers. We need to have solutions, and we need to come together and at least agree that the earth is not what we're being told. And that's the first step. I mean, the first step to realizing about we living in a strange world was accepting that, we could be wrong. All this stuff could be wrong. All this stuff could be a lie. We had to come to that term, each and every one of us, to be where we're at right now. If we didn't, we wouldn't be sitting here right now on a Google Hangout talking about this. So if we didn't make that decision at one point in the last 14 months, where would we be right now? Like, that's the way I see it. But we made that decision. to move forward and to come out on YouTube and say, hey, this is what I think, right? So each and every one of us need to make the second decision and say, you know what, we need to start agreeing. We don't have to trust everybody, but we need to at least agree as people, as individuals, that this all could be wrong. Like, we all need to agree that we are being lied to, that we don't know the shape of it. We can argue that till till no end.
Yeah, exactly.
We just
I
need to
mean,
agree on that one thing, and we can all move forward at one step forward. We're not going to run right off the edge, but we're going to at least move one step forward if we can all just agree on that one thing.
yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, when it's all said and done, we're awake to some lie on a great scale, and now that lie is so big, regardless, as you said, whether it's flat or a globe, or it's spinning or not. We're awake to a big lie. We've been lied to from since we was born until the day we die, and it's just a
And we're
crazy thing.
and we're even lied to today. We're lied to every day. Every day on YouTube, we're lied to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like each and every hangout, it's just getting crazier by the day. And the things they come up with,
Hello. Something's happened to BC Vancouver. Don't know what it is, but yeah, in England there are FEMA camps and stuff here as well. And for me, I just think it's bloody crazy that it's everywhere. You know, you may not hear that it's everywhere, but trust me, it is. You've got FEMA camps here, America, you know, and other
I got
places. I think he's back.
yeah, I got
All right.
disconnected, man. It said I left the hangout. I don't know. I didn't touch my phone.
Oh, right. Bloody heck. They're trying to stop you from talking.
Yeah, that's it. I feel that way sometimes.
Speaking
I
the
know
truth.
it's just crazy in the head, but I do feel that way.
Yeah, because there's lots of times where I've been trying to do something, or I've been watching something about flat Earth or government conspiracies, and I just get lobbed off. I have to try and figure a way how to get back on and stuff like that.
Yep.
You know, but yeah, I mean, you know, I think for our kids, they're the ones that's gonna need to be woken up more than us, because we're older. One day we're gonna die soon, but they got to pass it on to their kids. Whether the Earth is flat or not. And I think that's a big thing for me. My kids knowing the truth about the Earth being flat for me. You know, and then them passing it on to their kids, and then they pass it on to their kids. If we're here long enough to actually have that, do you know what I mean?
Well, for me, with my kids, I wouldn't call my kids flat earthers, but they definitely know what I believe and they know why I believe it. So they have their own minds. You know what I mean? I truly believe that they know at a young enough age now, and they'll make their own decision. That's what I want. I want my kids to have a decision. I've had a decision. I've chosen. I think the Earth is flat, and I
Yeah,
want them to have their own decision. I truly do. If they whatever they decide, they decide. I'm with them. You know what I mean? No matter what, they're my kids, and I can't help but see people that say, "Well, he's this or he's that" to other people, and it's like, man, what if that person was your kid? Like, people that bash like gay people and this and that. I say, well, what if that was your kid? Like, I mean, I don't know. I have two daughters, so if in the next couple years my kids say, oh, that they're gay or whatever, well, there's really not much I can do about that. But I do know one thing: as a dad, you still love your kid. Like, so to me, I just think the things that we argue about on YouTube is just insane. It's insane. It's nothing to do with flat earth. It's nothing to do with truth. It's nothing to do with movement. It's nothing to do with none of it. And the same thing with arguing with vegans and this and that. And it's just so much crap nothing to do with any of this stuff. Like none of us are here for that. Like none of us are here for that. We're here for truth, and that's what I see from most people. But is what we end up getting is distraction 9 times out of 10, and we get a new one every single day. Every single
Yeah.
day comes out, and I mean, especially with me. I mean, oh my, I am so deep in this stuff of what goes on. It's insane, and it's like I get people that turn to me for, well, how come this and how come that? Well, I don't know how come, and people seem to think that I'm this big investigator guy that I find out all this stuff. Well, I don't find out shit. I put my name out there. I talk to people. I open up to people. I share stuff with people. People share stuff with me. Um, I don't know. I think sometimes people see me as a guy with a big mouth, and they got stuff to say, or they got information and they don't want to say it because they don't want to create attention on their own channel or whatever. So they say, I'll send it to him, see what he thinks. And then once I see it, I say, well, man, I got to play this. Like, like you just showed me this. I have to show other people this. How can I go to bed tonight and not tell people what I think they should know? Or, if I got a chance to see this, why shouldn't other people get to see this? And it's like, I'm a truther. So if I find truth or what I think is truth, I want to share it with other people and say, this is what was given to me. Whether it's right or it's not, I don't know, but it convinced my brain. It's like all that stuff I put out about Patricia. In my mind, I listened to that video probably 100 times, and those phone calls and stuff, and the other people, I really don't care because I've accomplished my goal because my mind, it's already convinced.
Mm.
I mean, so whether other people got convinced by it, that's up to them. That's not up to me. I can't convince people's minds, but I know my mind is convinced that I think she's a liar. I don't think she's actually who she is or who she says she is. And that's just how I feel about it. Whether other people believe it or they pick up on it, well, that's up to them. I can't convince them. We can't convince people that there's a God or there's a creator or that Jesus is the Son of God. We can't convince people of that. They need to feel it in their own heart. I could talk to people about it for 8 hours a day, but you can't put God inside somebody's heart. You can put it in their brain, but you can't put it in their heart. They need to feel it themselves. And it's the same thing with any information or anything. You can put it in their brain, but you need to actually make the person believe it, and that's impossible.
Yeah, I mean, for me, once you planted the seed in their mind, that's your job done. Do you know what I mean?
Move on.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's like our show. Like our show is definitely not a bashing show that we're creating. It's a show about strategy. And like I say, we are not going to talk about the past. I'm not going to bring up stuff that happened 5 months ago. I mean, nobody cares about that stuff anymore. It's old news. Everybody knows it. Certainly, some things are probably worth repeating, and I probably will. And that's why I keep my own channel, Flat Earth Vancouver, BC, running. And I'll still continue to do what I do. I just will. When I see something, I'm gonna say something because I see it, and that's how I see it. And when I see people that was at one point and at a lot of the points and most of the points hating each other and talking about each other and leaving bad comments, and now all of a sudden they're friends, that really makes me think, man. Like that makes my head spin like around, and the things that they put right in front of our faces that I just can't get my head around, like Patricia Steer. I can't get my head around all the things with Mark and how she got in here into Flat Earth in the beginning. And then she made her own show with Mark, and it just, how they separate it with this so-called sex tape or whatever. And then she went to do her own show with all the suspicion on her, all the things that people say, that I've said, that other people have said. And she comes up with a show that's called Secret Hangouts.
Yeah,
Secret.
yeah,
Like, she is so responsible. of secrets. It's unbelievable, of any name she could ever pick for herself. Why that? Why that? Who picked that? Did they sit in like a conference and say we should do this because this will create a lot of attention? Because I mean, it sure does. I mean, that's just a weird name. I mean, that is just crazy, crazy name. Like, why would of all the crap she's been through, trying to create a new start, going from whatever happened with her and Mark, none of us will ever know, but going from that to a brand new starting all over. Why would you pick that name? I mean, it's like you're throwing it right in our faces. That's how I feel about it. And it's like the mechanics of the fourth wall. Where's the fourth wall? Is the fourth wall not an acting thing where you only see three
Yeah,
walls? Why is that name? Why? Of all the, we call them Project Potatoes, Potato Kids, Potato Peelers, so many names to them. Why do they come up with those names? It makes no sense to me. It's like every time they come up with a new show, I feel like they just slap me across the face. That's how I feel.
yeah,
And I'm sure other people feel that way. It's like this new guy that went to Antarctica, supposedly. You look on his site, I look on his page, and it says he's been on YouTube, Flat Earther, for 18 months now.
yeah,
18 months. I've been here for 14 months, and I've been everywhere for 18 hours a day some days more. I'll be up for 24 hours today. Uh, how do I not know this guy? How could this guy been on YouTube for 18 months with Flat Earth and I not know this guy? Like, seriously, it is possible. It's possible that it never come up recommended for you. It's possible, but highly unlikely. Very highly
yeah,
unlikely. And all of a sudden, he's right up there in every panel with Nathan Oakley and Antonio. And to me, it makes no sense because those people have been infiltrated so many times that it's so hard to get in there. This guy come from nowhere, and all of a sudden he's sitting up in the panel like every show. He has no content of his own. He's only mirroring their videos onto his channel, and it's only recently. And I looked the other day, and he had like 5,000 liked videos. Well, he could sit there on a brand new channel and do that all day, and hit 5,000 likes in no time, in a day. No, not a problem. So I mean, I don't believe that this guy's channel was created that long ago. I have a hard time believing that, and that he just come in and just fell into their thing. And when I watched that UK mixer, Nathan Oakley was walking around with his camera or his laptop, whatever he had, whatever he was filming live, and he was looking for this guy from Antarctica. He's like, anybody seen the guy from Antarctica? He was trying to find him, and he was going all around in a circle. He just kept walking in a circle, and he never found the guy. And then all of a sudden, this guy just pops up out of nowhere, and he's been to Antarctica. I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to think of this guy. Not that I'm calling this guy out or nothing, but I mean, it just don't make sense to me. And it's just constantly, it's like they keep coming up with new stuff all the time. It's like Patricia flies to the UK, and now her and Antonio's shacked up. It's like I can't get my head around all that, man. You can't figure them people out. And if you try, your head will just explode. It's like, and they
yeah.
wonder,
It's
well,
crazy, isn't it?
why is Flat Earth Vancouver over there so mad? Well, that's why I'm so mad. These people are making me crazy. Like it's like a, it's like they make something exciting or like dramatic or whatever, and then for the next event they got to top it. It's like a reality show. Like the next episode got to be better, right? So that's what they do. They create new events that can happen. It's like Nathan saying like, "Oh, well, he put that video out for he baited the trolls." Like, you and I know he didn't bait the trolls. Like, it's insane. Like, they never have to justify for themselves, and if they do get caught red-handed with their pants down, they say, "Wow, we did that on purpose. We wanted you guys to
Yeah,
know that."
yeah,
Like, it's like, no big deal. We did that. We didn't screw up. You guys didn't catch us. We just wanted to get some publicity. Like, really? Like, they must think we're so stupid. Like, I mean, and some people are. Some people really are, man. Like, they're really buy into this stuff. They think, oh, They just think that I don't know what they think, man. I can't get my head around what they're thinking and what other people are thinking of them because it's like too much, man. It's crazy on the head. Really, it is. And I think everybody forgets the big picture. You know, I think everybody just forgets it.
1 minute. I'm just gonna go and talk to someone. Give me a second.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
What?
Who's all in chat here? We got GED Skeptic Media. What's up, buddy?
Hey, buddy, I've got to end this. Something's come up.
Yeah. All right, buddy. No worries, man. It was nice chatting with you. Bless you. We'll do this again sometime.
Definitely. Thank you. Hey.
You uploading this video?
Yeah, it would do it automatically anyway.
Cool, buddy. Peace, man. Nice chatting with you, buddy.
You too, brother. Take care.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.